directly to you. Whose position on Kinder Morgan pipelines do you support? Adrian Dix, who's had several, BC NDP MLA John Horgan, who said Kinder Morgan could route their pipelines through Delta, or BC MLA Leonard Krog, who said he's opposed to both the new pipelines and the old pipelines.
Well, you know, I think that we can take a look at this with a very responsible view. Adrian Dix has said all along that Kinder Morgan application was not in front of us. And back in the fall and early winter, I've worked for Environment Canada for 10 years. I have started the very first Environment and Energy Committee at Metro Vancouver and chaired it for 7 years. And I've done work as a private contractor in oil spill control. I always thought that Kinder Morgan was floating this idea, large numbers of additional barrels of oil that they would transport. And I always thought that they would come down very close to what they do now with some minor increase. Well, after the winter, we started wondering, in fact, if they were going to do that. And then once they saw that the Northern Enbridge pipeline was failing in the eyes of all British Columbians, they thought they could be the substitute for the Enbridge pipeline. And guess what? At that point, we started hardening our position, and Adrian Dix stood up and said, we do have a decision. And he made that decision very clear, and that is the position of the BC NDP.
Our party has taken a position, and it sticks with this particular position for both Enbridge and for Kinder Morgan. And there are 5 conditions that must be met in order for us to proceed with a pipeline. The first condition is that there be safety regulations in place for land, safety regulations in place for water, consultation with Aboriginals, and a full, complete environmental assessment. And the last one is to ensure that the pipelines will benefit all British Columbians.
Thank you. Ms. Raymer, where do the Liberals stand on banning poisonous garden pest products, as they're concerned about bees, as a recent study indicates a significant loss in BC?
Thank you very much. There have been a committee that was struck, and we have taken the position that any pesticides must be administered by a licensed applicant. I do understand the concern for the bee population, and I'm not sure how much that formed the discussion that took place, but that is our position. Thank you.
Okay, well, first of all, I must say that it was the city of Port Moody under my leadership that was the very first city west of Quebec to introduce a bylaw banning the cosmetic use of pesticides, a position that was endorsed and promoted by BC Cancer Society, the physicians, you name it. Everybody was behind this idea because it's a good thing to do. We always speak about our children. Our children. Can you imagine children playing in the playground with pesticides? Do you want to take that chance? Especially when the Cancer Society, leading agency in Canada, says that we shouldn't do that. So we did that in Port Moody, and you know what? One time I got a threatening phone call from the whatever it was, the producers in the United States. They have a special name. They produce pesticides. I had a phone call in City Hall, and Diane, my executive assistant, was there. They threatened us with a lawsuit. And I said, bring it on. City of Port Moody is always first things, so let's have a first one. Take the City of Port Moody to court. But you know what's sad about this? It's become a political thing. Premier Clark promised that she would bring it province-wide, the ban that is. And then when the committee came back with some wishy-washy recommendations, she backed off. She didn't come through with a promise to ban the cosmetic use of pesticide province-wide. We, the BC NDP, will bring a province-wide ban for cosmetic use of pesticide.
Thank you. Joe, I'll let you answer this one first. What should be done to get School District 43's ballooning deficit under control?
Boy, I'm a bit surprised that things come in all of a sudden, you know, as if everybody is unaware. So I have to be careful what I say. But one thing is for sure, you know, if I was a good money manager, which I am, if I was a very fiscally responsible, which I am, the first thing that I would do, I would hire I would order an audit. That's the first thing that I would do. Let's find out what's going on. But there are mitigating circumstances. We all know that the teaching conditions in classroom have been deteriorating. We have a lot of ESL students. We have students that need special care. We have First Nation students at times need a little bit of extra help, and we do not have funding for that from the provincial government. This is why we are putting $100 million to improve those classroom conditions. So perhaps there is a bit of blame to go all around here, and we have to reflect. We are playing with the education of our young people. It is very important, and this is not something that needs to linger. We have to solve it, and solve it quickly.
This is a huge concern, and $12 million for the coming year is a horrible amount of money to have to find. I do know that our Ministry of Education is working closely with the school district. I believe the school district does know what happened. The Ministry of Education doesn't normally do audits on school districts. And really there's no need to, because they seem to know what the crux of the problem was. I just want to mention that the BC Liberal government has increased funding for education. It's at its highest level ever of $5.3 billion. It's a 29% increase since 2000-2001. In addition, we have began a learning improvement fund, which for our school district is $3.1 million. That is money that can be used to assist in the classroom. We've also got of the 67,000 classrooms we have in the province, only 1,363 in grades 4 to 12 have more than 30 students. So we are making some headway. In addition, we've added a couple of other, we've added our Strong Start program for preschool age children, and we've also added a full-day kindergarten because kids were coming to school unprepared to learn, and so it was our government that decided that this was what was needed to be done to help our kids learn. Thank you.